Oops, sorry, this one's already taken. Hi everyone, I'm sitting inside the Schneider Haus privy, and like most outhouses, this is not the most comfortable place to be. It's a little chilly in here too. You can see with this one, in fact, is a two-seater. Beside me is the larger hole for adults, and over here is the smaller hole for children because you don't want them to fall through the outhouse hole. Now, I'm sure many parents can relate to this today because some parents have their children definitely follow them to the bathroom. Privacy isn't the only thing missing in this outhouse. You also won't find rolls of toilet paper. But in 1856, no toilet paper, no problem. The Schneiders were very thrifty and resourceful. They used what they had available on the farm. And one thing they had a lot of was corn. They grew lots of corn on their farm. And what do you do after you eat those kernels? Well, what do you do with the cob? That's right. Instead of lovely rolls of 2-ply bathroom tissue, the Schneiders used dried corn cobs. One use and down the outhouse hole it goes where it will organically decompose. I know what you're thinking, that doesn't sound too pleasant, but it's actually a lot softer than you think. If you'd prefer a different historical solution to the current toilet paper shortage, well, I wonder what they were doing in the early 1900s, 60 years from now. Maybe we should ask Kevin at Dune Heritage Village what he thinks. Hey Kevin, what were they using for toilet paper in 1914?
Thanks there, Katie. Much appreciated. Hi there, folks, and welcome to Dune Heritage Village, which is a part of the Seiling Waterloo Region Museum. Now, you may have already gathered that today we are going to give defecation its due. Now, you may have had actual difficulties trying to get your hands on toilet paper, so we thought it might be instructive to look to the past to see how people used to clean themselves without toilet paper. Now, for those of you who have actually never been to our historic village before, Dune is set in the year 1914. And people back then, just like us today, they needed to clean themselves. And just like us, they reached for paper products. However, the kind of paper products they reached for included newspapers. And there were a lot of newspapers in Waterloo County in 1914. And it's interesting that we should be talking about this subject in this house, because this is the Peter MacArthur House. Now, Peter MacArthur was an author of some note in 1914, especially for his humorous stories, which appeared in the Farmer's Advocate, a magazine, and also the Globe, which is now the Globe and Mail, a newspaper. So it's quite possible that Peter MacArthur's stories were consumed in an entirely different manner than he had originally intended. Now, when most of us, though, think of a substitute for toilet paper, we think of these catalogs. And again, there was a whole host of catalogs. And those of us between 50 and death probably remember the Eaton's catalog in particular. But there was also the Simpsons catalog, the Hudson Bay catalog. There were hardware catalogs. And in the States, there was also the Montgomery Ward catalog and the Sears and Roebuck catalog, which, interestingly enough, given our topic today, had the rather evocative nickname of Rears and Sorebutt. There was actually toilet paper, as we would know it, in 1914, and a number of stores actually sold it. You could even get it through catalogs, but also department stores and general stores. But there was a perception, particularly in rural areas, that toilet paper, it was a dead waste of money, since you already have newspapers, magazines, catalogs, and they were either really cheap or even free. But that perception started to change, particularly around 1914, as more and more households got hooked up to running water. So imagine trying to flush pages from this bad boy down your toilet, and you start to realize very quickly why toilet paper started to become more and more popular. They needed something far more flushable. But unfortunately, I have to take my leave. I've got some reading to do.